What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about Nintendo's E3 presentation this year, as well it's hard to believe another E3 has come and gone. Now, I think that we can all agree that a lot of people were expecting some big announcements to come out of Nintendo's E3 presentation this year, as we all know how Nintendo's already got Smash Bros coming out this year, but that they also want to sell 20 million Nintendo Switch consoles, and so we were all hoping for some big announcements to come out, which will help them reach that goal. So now that E3 has winded down and Nintendo's E3 presentation is finished, I'm basically just going to be going through their presentation and giving you guys my thoughts on a lot of the big announcements that came out of it, and then giving you guys my thoughts on the whole entire presentation of Nintendo at E3 as a whole, and then whether or not I think that Nintendo won this year's E3 or not. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so as soon as Nintendo's E3 presentation started, we saw something that was pretty unusual because we saw a whole bunch of these flying robots and like shooting each other and flying around, and I had no clue what this game was, and I didn't know if a lot of you had any idea what this was either. I don't know if this was something that was revealed ahead of time, or if this was something that was hinted at, or if it was just shown for the very first time at E3, but basically they just showed a whole bunch of this weird gameplay, and it looks kind of interesting. I just didn't know what it was. I was very confused when I was watching this for the first time, and then it just cut to the title of the game as well. I think it's called Daemon X Machina. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but yeah, it looks pretty interesting, but I just had no clue what this game was when I was looking at it for the first time. So it did say that the game is going to be coming out in 2019, and it does look kind of interesting. I'm just confused as to what type of genre this is. Like, is it an adventure game? Is it an action game? If you guys have some more information on it, definitely let me know down below. It does look kind of interesting. I just need some more information to see if it's the type of game that I would be interested in. Now, the next thing that was shown off was some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, and while I didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, from what I saw on Twitter, it looks like a lot of people were very happy from this DLC stuff. It looks like that there's actually going to be a lot of significant new content in here, so that's going to be good. I think some people said that you can play as some new characters that you weren't able to play as before, so that's going to add a lot of changes, and it's going to be coming out this year in September, so that's going to be awesome for a lot of you guys who are interested in that. So after Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we actually got a bit of new info on Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So basically, they revealed that the Pokeball Plus accessory that works with these two games is actually going to have the mythical Pokemon Mew, and you're going to be able to get Mew from this and transfer it into your game. Now, the thing that I don't understand from this is that people are saying that they're basically selling you Mew for $45 or however much that Pokeball Plus thing costs, and basically people are just saying like this is just not right because they're selling you mythical Pokemon. And the way I see it, I feel like that this is not that much of an issue because basically it's just an incentive to buy the Pokeball Plus, as you know that they're going to get a Mew as well, which is like an additional bonus. For me personally, I don't have an issue if they're giving you an additional Pokemon or something like that for buying another product, because at the end of the day here, you're still getting that product. Like I remember last year, if you bought Pokemon Gold and Silver on the Virtual Console, they were able to give you the mythical Pokemon Celebi for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, as well as Pokemon Sun and Moon. So that's not like a problem because you're still getting a game. You're still getting Pokemon Gold and Silver, and here you're still getting an accessory, you're still getting the Pokeball Plus. If we ever get to the point in Pokemon where they start selling you just the additional Pokemon, then I feel like that's going to be disappointing and that will be an issue. Like if next year with Generation 8, like if a hidden mythical Pokemon, if they're like, alright, you have to pay $5 to get this, then I see an issue, then I think that's going to be a problem. But besides that, if they just give you an additional mythical Pokemon for buying something else, you're still getting that product. It's just that the Pokemon is like an extra reason for you to be able to buy it. Now, the next thing that was shown off is actually something that I'm pretty excited for, and that is a brand new Mario Party game that's going to be on the Nintendo Switch, and it's called Super Mario Party. It definitely looks like a lot of fun. I think that there was a lot of cool things that they showed off in the reveal trailer. Like the one thing that really caught my eye was how they had one mini game where they were connecting multiple Nintendo Switch systems together, so it definitely looks like a ton of fun. And the one thing that I heard that was pretty cool is that this game is actually supposedly going to have some type of online gameplay, which is going to be really awesome, because that's the one thing that I don't like about Mario Party games, is that they really don't have any online gameplay. So it's going to be awesome if there's going to be some online modes here where you can play against random people online, or if you can play with your friends online as well. And yeah, besides that, the only thing that I'm a little bit unsure about is if this Mario Party game is supposed to be like the real Mario Party game for the Nintendo Switch, or if this is just like a spin-off type of Mario Party game and that the real one is going to be coming out a little bit later. Because the thing with Mario Party games is that they're always pretty much just labeled as numbers, like it's Mario Party 9 or Mario Party 10. So I was expecting this one to be called Mario Party 11, but because of how it's called Super Mario Party, I'm a little bit unsure if this is like the real Mario Party game that's going to be on the Switch, or if this is just like a spin-off game that's going to be here for a little bit, kind of like the Super Mario Party game where it was like the top 100 for the Nintendo 3DS that came out last year. So if you guys have some more info on that, if you guys know if this is going to be like the real Mario Party game or if it's just like a spin-off game for a little bit, definitely let me know down below. So after Super Mario Party, they finally revealed the brand new Fire Emblem game that's going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. It's called Fire Emblem Three Houses, and the thing about this is that the game is going to be coming out in spring of 2019. So it actually has been delayed because we pretty much heard since last year that the game was going to be coming out this year, and now we know it's going to be coming out in spring of next year. So it kind of makes sense how we haven't been hearing a lot of information about this game for a while. I think now it makes sense because the game ended up becoming delayed, but it does look pretty cool. I mean, you guys know that I don't play Fire Emblem games, but I am looking forward to the one on the Nintendo Switch to try that out and make that like my first Fire Emblem game that I actually complete all the way. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'll probably pick it up next year when it comes out. Now the next thing that they showed was actually something that I was very happy from, and that's the fact that Fortnite is out on the Nintendo Switch. If you guys watched my video where I talked about the top 5 ports that I wanted on the Nintendo Switch, then you all know that Fortnite was my #1 choice. I played that a lot on my PlayStation 4, and I really wanted that game to get ported onto the Nintendo Switch, so I was very happy when I got that announcement. So I was very happy when I found out that Fortnite is coming out on the Nintendo Switch, but then I was very disappointed because I found out that you couldn't log into your Fortnite account at all on the Nintendo Switch if you already connected it with the PlayStation 4. Now, I feel like that even if Sony doesn't support crossplay, and if they don't want you playing with other systems from the PlayStation 4, they should at least allow you to be able to log into your Fortnite account on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's really dumb how they lock you out from even doing that, and I don't want to create a whole new account just to play Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, because I did buy the Battle Pass and some other things on my PlayStation 4 account, so I just want to be able to bring all that data over onto the Switch. So after they showed off Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, they basically just talked a little bit about some indie games that are going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch as well. So those are pretty interesting. They talked a little bit about some other games that are going to be coming out, such as Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I think they talked a little bit about the Splatoon 2 DLC. So it's pretty cool, but then they pretty much moved on to the main segment of the Nintendo E3 presentation. So of course, as expected, the big essential part of Nintendo's E3 presentation was Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch, and they announced that the game is in fact officially going to be called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now if you guys want to hear my thoughts about this, I'm actually very pleased with all the stuff that they showed off during the Direct. I was so happy with all the information that we got about Super Smash Bros. I was really expecting Smash Bros. On the Switch to not look much better than it did already on the Wii U, because the Wii U version was already 1080p at 60 FPS, and that's the same amount that the Nintendo Switch can handle, so I was expecting the game to look pretty much exactly the same, but boy was I wrong, as Smash Bros. On the Switch looks insane. It definitely looks much better than it did on the Wii U. You can definitely tell the differences from the new gameplay engine, because the colors are much more vibrant, they pop out a lot more, and you can also see the differences in the shading and lighting as well, so it definitely looks much better on the Nintendo Switch. Now as for the new information about Smash Bros, I was actually extremely surprised when I saw that every single character in Super Smash Bros history is going to be returning in Super Smash Bros Ultimate, because I was definitely not expecting characters like Young Link or Pichu or even Snake to come back in Smash Bros. I felt like they were just their own special characters for like a one-time thing in their own specific games. They weren't probably going to be coming back in future games, but now we have every single character in Smash Bros history all inside of one game, which is just awesome. So I'm also very happy with the stages that they showed off for Smash Bros. It looks like that there's going to be a ton of returning stages, so that's going to be awesome, and I really like all the gameplay changes that they have as well, like how there's better mobility when you're doing an air dodge, and how you can't have people just rolling all the time, because having all those rolling for glory links was so annoying in Smash Bros. Wii U, so I'm also very happy with those changes that they have in the gameplay. And I guess the other really big thing from the Smash Bros segment is the fact that Ridley is going to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros Ultimate. Now I was extremely surprised when I saw that Ridley was going to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros Ultimate, because I always thought that Ridley was just going to be a boss character. It made a lot of sense to me when Sakurai said that Ridley was too big. I always did see him as a boss character. He was a boss character in South Space Emissary for Smash Bros Brawl, so I remember him as a boss in that game, and even on his stage in Super Smash Bros on Wii U, he was really big as well, and they kind of made you be able to play as him because you were able to get him on your side, but I never thought that Ridley could actually become a playable fighter, and here we are. So those are my thoughts on some of the key parts of Nintendo's E3 presentation, but now comes the part in talking about whether or not Nintendo won E3 this year. Now you guys know that I'm a huge Nintendo fan and that I love talking about Nintendo, I love playing Nintendo games, but if you guys really want my honest opinion, I don't feel like that Nintendo won this year's E3. Now don't get me wrong, I loved everything that they showed off for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I love how every character is going to be returning, I love all the stages that they showed off, I love how they showed off all the characters and how their movesets have changed, I love how Ridley's going to be in the game, I love everything that they showed off for Smash Bros. But really besides that, there wasn't a lot of other content that was in Nintendo's E3 presentation. The thing about E3 is that as long as you're a video game fan and you like playing video games, then you should be able to tune into any video game presentation and find something that you like. So the thing about Nintendo's E3 presentation this year is that they actually didn't show off a lot of first party stuff. Pretty much the only first party things that they showed off was that there's going to be some Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC, there's a little bit of info about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee with the Pokeball Plus, Super Mario Party, Fire Emblem, and then Super Smash Bros. They really didn't talk about anything else. Pretty much all the other things were just indie games and some third party games. And like I said, I love Smash Bros. I love everything that they showed off for Smash Bros. In that E3 presentation, but believe it or not, there are people out there who don't like Smash Bros. And people who couldn't care less about Smash Bros. So the thing is, in this presentation, they pretty much had to sit there for about 25 minutes just having to listen through all this information about Smash Bros. And they didn't have any type of end time either, because I'm pretty sure this was an E3 presentation where Nintendo didn't give us an estimate of how long it was going to be, so people didn't know when the presentation was even going to end. So if you're one of those people out there who don't like Smash Bros. Or if you don't like fighting games, then Nintendo's E3 presentation must have been very disappointing for you, as you pretty much had to sit there and watch through all that information about Super Smash Bros. And that's what I didn't like about Nintendo's E3 presentation. Like, I love all the stuff that they showed off for Smash Bros, but they could have very well just done that during the Treehouse or just done that in their own special Smash Bros Direct. Essentially, the whole entire E3 presentation was pretty much just a Super Smash Bros Ultimate Direct. So it wasn't very good if you weren't a Smash Bros fan, and also they didn't show a lot of other games as well. I think a lot of people were expecting things like Animal Crossing, or Bayonetta 3, or Metroid Prime 4, and while even if those games aren't coming out this year, because they're definitely not coming out, I still feel like if they showed off a little teaser or something like that for these games, then a lot of people would have been excited. I mean, just coming from last year when we had Mario Odyssey, when they showed off DLC for Zelda Breath of the Wild, when they talked about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when they talked about Fire Emblem Warriors, and showed off so many amazing things, to come from that and then just have this year where they talk about Smash Bros and a very few amount of first party games, it definitely feels a little more underwhelming than last year's E3. So if you guys want my final thoughts, I think that Nintendo did have a good E3. They showed off Super Mario Party, they showed off Fire Emblem, and they showed a lot of amazing content for Smash Bros. But besides that, there really wasn't that many big announcements that surprised a lot of people. So I feel like besides that, they didn't really have an amazing E3 to be able to win E3 this year. But the thing about winning E3 is that it really doesn't even matter. You don't get anything for winning E3. It's just a term that a lot of people like to use to show which company had the best reveals. So all in all, I think that Nintendo's E3 presentation was good this year. They showed off some amazing things for Smash Bros, as well as some pretty cool first party games, but besides that though, there really wasn't that many insane new announcements. There wasn't anything to catch you off guard, especially like last year when they showed off that Pokemon was going to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch, when they showed Metroid Prime 4 and a whole bunch of other things like that. So I feel like besides that though, Nintendo's E3 wasn't amazing. And I mean, right after Microsoft's first entire E3 presentation this year, I tweeted out saying that if Nintendo's just going to have Smash Bros this year, it's not going to win them E3. They definitely need to have a lot of announcements that catch people off guard, and unfortunately that didn't happen this year. It pretty much just focused on Smash Bros. So I tweeted about this as well, so let's take a look at my Twitter and see if we got any responses. I asked you guys on Twitter how you felt about Nintendo's E3 presentation. So let me find the exact tweet right here. I did tweet this a while back, so I'm gonna have to find the exact tweet. But yeah, I said, now that E3 has come to an end, how do you all feel about Nintendo's presentation? Were you happy or disappointed? Reply to this tweet with your thoughts and you could be featured in my next video. So let's see here, Pokeroll is saying, very happy about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, looks like an amazing game, however I feel bad for Nintendo fans who are waiting for other announcements, like Metroid Prime 4, Animal Crossing, or Yoshi. We need more info on those games, it's been a year since their first announcement. Now obviously we don't know if Animal Crossing is going to be coming out next year, or like when it's going to be coming out, we don't know about that, but I do agree with you on Metroid Prime 4 and Yoshi. Like, we've known about those games, I think it would have been nice to get some info about them. Like, even though we know that Metroid Prime 4 is probably not going to be coming out for a while, I think it would have been awesome if we got some type of gameplay footage or teaser trailer or a screenshot or anything. I think some type of info would have definitely created a lot of hype. You also said here, also if I may add, the pacing of the direct itself was awful, very limited time on other games and probably too much time spent on Smash. I can agree with you on that as well. I think that there would have been a lot of other games that should have gotten more of a focus. I think one example with this would be like Dragon Ball FighterZ. Like, when that game got announced for the Nintendo Switch, I think a lot of people would have been really excited. I think it would have been nice to see some gameplay and stuff like that. It pretty much was covered in a 5-second segment when they were going through all the games that are going to be coming out this year. I think a lot of people would have been happy to see like a more focused portion of the direct on that. I think a lot of people were looking forward to having that game on the Switch anyway. So stuff like that, I feel like other games should have gotten more of a focus instead of Smash Bros. But I'm not complaining. I mean, Smash Bros was obviously an amazing part of that direct as well. Dennis here saying disappointed it was mostly one game. So yeah, a lot of people were saying that they're disappointed because it was Smash Bros. Rocktiller here is saying I'm happy. I hope that eventually we'll get some form of Fallout on the Switch. My fingers are crossed for 76 to come, also launch on it, but nope. I'm waiting though. All in great presentations. Yeah, I mean pretty much I think Fallout, if it's coming out, maybe it'll come out a little while after. I think usually though Bethesda is pretty good with their games on the Switch now. They're like really into the Switch and putting games out on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the future at some point Fallout 76 does make it onto the Nintendo Switch. I think a lot of people can agree that it was just basically just one big game with Smash Bros. It was very lackluster. It was mostly Smash and one delay, DLC, Mario Party, and that Damon game. Not the greatest, but that's okay. Anthony here saying I was pretty happy with the presentation for the most part, disappointed that it didn't show Yoshi, looking forward to Smash, but it was shown way too much in the presentation. Yeah, I think Smash Bros was really way too much. I think it was sort of like a Smash Bros Direct pretty much. Like they should have just waited and put that in like a special segment for Smash Bros or something like that. I don't think it should have been in the presentation. Steel Wing here saying Smash was definitely the star of the show, which I personally was fine with. Definitely the game I'm most hyped for this year, but I can see why many are disappointed. Alright, I'll scroll down a little bit more here. This person is saying, I was worried about the aesthetic of Fire Emblem. It looked pretty great and it looks more like a Warriors game with faceless troops behind you. I'm going to wait for another trailer before I worry too much. I mean, we're just going to have to see about that. I think like it might have gotten delayed for a good thing. Maybe they're adding more stuff to it. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I think a lot of people for the most part are just saying that it's just a lot of Smash Bros in there. This person is saying, I honestly just cared about Smash in the first place, so I was very impressed. So yeah, if you just wanted info about Smash Bros, you were probably very happy because that was such a big portion of the Direct. Joe here is saying, I'm honestly pumped. I wish it had a lot more, but I'm still excited for Smash, Starlink, and Let's Go Pikachu. Alcast here is saying, I'm not mad anymore at Metroid Prime 4 not showing up, since Reggie did say that it wouldn't be fair to repeatedly tease fans, but I still feel like that they had to show something. My most hyped game that isn't Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is Starlinked. Definitely looking forward to getting it this October. That game looks really cool as well. I like how they showed it off at the Ubisoft presentation though. I think for the most part though, a lot of you guys are just saying that you didn't like how Smash Bros was such a big portion and that other games weren't in there, so I can agree with you on that as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for all your responses, and remember, if you guys ever want to be featured in videos like this, just go and follow me on Twitter at @ActualAero. And so there you go guys, those are all of my thoughts on Nintendo's E3 this year. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. How do you guys feel about Nintendo's E3? Were you happy from it? Were you disappointed by it? Definitely be sure to let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Nintendo content in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad, and go follow me on Twitter at @ActualAero. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.